America, all of our religious training has been gotten through the preacher. And he has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Heaven and hell are just two conditions of life, and they're both right here on this earth.
Tell me why. He could call y'all. It's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Please stand for prayer.
Prayer.
Attention prayer. Audu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Surely I turn myself to thee, O Allah, being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifices, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate hath thee, and this is my command, and I am of those who submit. Allah, thou art the King. There is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I do confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, for none can grant protection against faults with thee. No Allah, guide me to the best of morals, for none can guide to the best of morals but thee. And please turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none can turn away from me the evil and the indecent morals but thee. Oh, Allah bless Muhammad, and bless the true followers of Muhammad. Started bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham. Share thy praise and magnify. And oh Allah, make Muhammad successful and make the true followers of Muhammad successful. Started make Abraham and the true followers of Abraham successful. Share thy praise and magnified, and I miss forever. Ameen.
Ameen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger, and I like to greet y'all once again in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How's everybody feeling this morning?
Fine, sir.
Praise be to Allah. I too am feeling fine. It's really a beautiful day. We had a string of beautiful days lately. But you know, whenever we come into the mosque, we see, or as soon as we come into the mosque, we always go through a check procedure.
Yes, sir.
You know, and the reason why we go through a check procedure, just as when you're leaving the country or the state or you leaving the state or the country and you go on an airplane and you leave, they always put you through some type of check procedure, make sure you don't have any weapons on you, this or that, you know.
Yes, sir.
But when you leave the country, like you can go off to the Middle East and they would check you and make sure that you don't have certain contraband on you that might be legal in America, but illegal wherever else that you may go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so it's the same in this world. When we check you, there's things that we may have on us because we living in America, and there's some things that's legal in America that we may have on us, such as like cigarettes.
Right.
But these things are not acceptable in the eyes of Allah, in the place of Allah, in Allah's new world and kingdom.
Right.
And so we check you, try to get your physical right.
Come on.
You know, try to get your person acceptable in the eyesight of Almighty God Allah, and then you come inside of the meeting.
Right.
And you get your mind prepped so that you're able to receive a new teaching so that you can go into the new world established by Almighty God Allah.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
And so coming out of this world, we can bear witness that this is not our world.
Right.
As Tupac had affectionately called in one of his songs, it is a white man's world.
Right.
You know, and so this being the white man's world, seeing how we don't have any success, is diametrically opposed to all black people since it's underlined by white supremacy.
Come on.
The white man has told us certain things about himself. Satan has taught us about himself. Satan said that he is a spirit.
Yes, sir.
Now, Satan said he's a spirit.
Right.
The arch deceiver himself said that he's something other than what he's not, or something other than what he is. Excuse me.
Come on.
You know, and so Satan saying that he's a spirit, it's just not in the core of the scripture. So in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 through 16, when it deals about the exposing of Satan and the bringing to naught of Satan's works, the nations and the people of the earth, they ask, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
Right.
Is this the man? Didn't say a spirit, didn't say a spook, it didn't say a divine wicked piece of wind. It didn't say some half man, half animal red thing out there with a tail and a pitchfork.
Come on.
You know, it said a man.
Right.
And then the Islamic equivalent terms of Satan is jinn and iblis. And so in Surah 41 verse 25 and Surah 46 verse 18, it says that there is a nation of jinn.
Right.
So there's a group of people. Jinn means fiery spirit.
Right.
You know, it means to be of an aggressive force, nature, or spirit. And also, jinn also means to be hidden. So that means that this is a nation of people whose knowledge of who they truly are is hidden from the masses of the people. And since it's hidden, it also goes into Iblis, who is also a chief Satan. And it says in Surah 18, verse 50, it says that there's the progeny of Iblis, meaning Iblis has children.
Come on.
You know, so if Iblis has children, and then there's a nation of devils, or a nation of jinn, a nation of aggressors, a nation of unchecked passion, thus inclining them to rebellion,
Right. Go
to
ahead.
God's will, is a nation of devils.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
And then at the top of the nation of devils is the bloodline of Iblis,
Right.
the children, the offspring of Iblis. And, or in other terms, we can call it the family of Satans.
Yes, sir.
So it's a family of Satans at the top of this world, which is ran by a nation of jinn, a nation of devils. White man's world. The devil masked under a white skin.
Right.
And then it says in Revelations chapter 13, verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. And I submit to you that the man who has understanding is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan,
That's right.
who is a divine messenger in our midst, you know, who can receive the full unadulterated spirit of Allah.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
But it continues on, it says, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Well, let's count a little something.
Come on.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the white man was made over 6,000, or the grafting process began 6,600 years ago, and that he was given 6,000 years to rule. So that's a couple of sixes in his history. You know, and just in case you don't believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that a man, you know, put people into a process that brought about white people, there's a Jewish scientist in Copenhagen, which is in Denmark, which is in Europe. So he's white.
Right.
White. His name is Dr. Hans Eiberg, and his team of researchers said that they found a gene called the OCA2 gene. And if you alter it, then what it end up happening is that you'll lose melanin in your hair, your eyes, and your skin. And the condition is called albinism. And him and his team of researchers said that this gene was targeted and manipulated 6,000 plus years ago.
Wow. Come on.
Which is right in line with what the Honorable
That's right.
Elijah Muhammad
That's right.
teaches
Go
us.
ahead.
Yes, sir. Good teacher.
So 6,600 years ago, you know, was the beginning process of the white man. You know, let's count a couple of sixes. Yaqub, he was 6 years old when he had the idea to make them. When they went on island of Patmos or Pt.1, he had 60,000 followers.
Come on.
And then it took 600 years to graft them. They went to the Holy Land, made mischief for 6 months.
That's
The
right.
average height of them is 6 feet tall.
Come on.
After they finished the grafting process, they had brain the size of 6 ounces in weight. World War I began in 1914. 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 4 equals 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6.
That's right.
World War II began in 1941. 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 1 equals 15 again. 1 plus 5 equals 6.
Come on.
Then America entered the war in 1950, which is 1 plus 9 plus 5 plus 0. All of that equals 6. Whenever you die, you're carried by 6 pallbearers. They bury you 6 feet deep, or at least they used to. Now they have to bury you a little bit deeper now. Now it's 8 feet. Because they've been killing off so many of us, they got to bury you deeper now. In the beginning, the police badge was a 6-point star, and it all had 60-degree angles on
Yes,
it. When you start school in this world, it's mandatory that you start in the 1st grade. The average age is 6 years old. You become adult in this world at the age of 18, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6.
Right.
Every 6 months, they make mischief with time, just as they made mischief in the Holy Land, which is daylight savings times.
Right.
Where they either move the time up an hour or back an hour. You don't know where it went, it's just hour gone.
Right.
And we
Yes,
just
sir.
experienced that. Like we too.
Yes, sir.
You know, the news networks, ABC, A is the first letter, B is the second, and C is the third, equals 6. If you add those up, that's 6.
Yes, sir.
CBS, 3, or C is the third letter, B is the second, S is the 19th. Add all of those together, you get 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And then Fox, well, we already know Fox. We knew that was satanic.
Come on.
But F is the 6th letter. O is the 15th. 1 plus 5 equals 6. And then X is the 24th letter. 2 plus 4 equals 6. So in that is 666 in the mathematics.
Right.
Yes, sir.
America is 3,000 by 2,000 miles long, which 2,000 times 3,000 equals 6 million square miles. The money in which we use, the paper currency, is 6 inches long, and it's in 6 forms of tenses. It's penny, quarter, nickel, dime, half dollar, and a dollar.
Yes, sir.
DC, Roman numeral. D equals 500 in the Roman numeral. C equals 100. 500 plus 100 equals 600.
Yes.
Happens to be the amount of time it took to make them. The Monster Energy drinks has a way in which it's formed. The logo on it is actually Hebrew for 666.
Mm.
And then the Pope, supposed to be the vicar of Christ, has on his hat Vicarious Filii Dei. In Roman numerals, Vicarious equals 112, Filii equals 53, and Dei equals 501. Add all of that together, you get 666.
Mm. Go ahead.
And he's supposed to be the vicar of Christ.
That's right.
Right.
And he is
Is.
the vicar of the Antichrist.
Right.
Come on. Yes, sir.
So when you come in the door, we don't check you, because we don't trust you, but we check you because we love you.
Come on.
And so we want to make sure that you're safe and you're acceptable in the eyesight of God, so that we remove from your person all things that God will be displeased with, so that you can come into this room and hear a teaching that'll ultimately take you into what's called the hereafter in Islamic terms, and also heaven on earth in Christianity.
Yes, sir.
So ultimately, you belong in heaven. You have divine DNA
That's right.
connected to the originator of the universe.
Yes, sir.
And with that, I'd like to close out the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Now I'd like to bring up my brother. He been calling me his big brother the last couple of times. I think he trying to say I'm fat, but I've been losing weight, so it's all good, bro.
Praise be to God.
Yes, sir.
But this brother, he's a very well-studied brother, and just talking to him for a couple of minutes, you know that he is diligent in his studies, and that he is a good representative of this teaching of the supreme wisdom that's been given to us by none other than God Himself.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's bring our brother up with a warm round of applause, Brother Andre X.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the form of a well-made man in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, who had military training when he came here.
Come on.
And the reason why I say that is because he established a beachhead in enemy territory and then proceeded to take control. He took control when he reached down into the bowels of North America and raised up one,
Right.
a black man from Sandersville, Georgia, who only had a 3rd grade education, but raised him, deposited within him his spirit, deposited within him his power, deposited within him his wisdom, to make him raise the likes of Muhammad Ali, raise the likes of Malcolm X, raise the likes of the one that we have in our midst today who became his greatest student, who became his greatest representative, who became his greatest follower and student, who is a voice for the downtrodden, who is a voice for the weak, who is a voice for the lowly, who is a voice for the rejected and the despised,
Right.
who he said himself, wherever you see him, look at him. Wherever you hear him, listen to him. Wherever he tells you to go, go. And wherever he tells you to stay away from, stay away from.
Yes, sir.
And I speak of none other than our big brother, our comforter, our leader, our teacher, our guide, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And with these three, I want to greet the believers here in the city of Grand Rapids with the universal greetings of peace, paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
How's the family feeling this morning?
Wow, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. I'm fine myself. And for those that are not fine, we hope to get you to that point before you leave today. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Today I want to talk about building the will. There is a certain motivation or a drive that we have to have in order to build the will. And when we're talking about building the will, well, what do I mean? There's a desire. Desire is the food that builds the will.
Right.
Desire is what causes us to strive to achieve whatever it is that we have set as a goal in our life. But there is a difficulty factor attached to any time or anything when we want to attain a goal. There's a difficulty factor attached to that.
Right. Yes, sir.
The desire to attain a goal brings us face to face with difficulty.
That's right.
When a person is illiterate, there's a difficulty factor attached in the pursuit of that person to receive literacy.
Right.
That person has to come out of their comfort zone.
Right.
Basically, if they want to have to get a tutor, they have to come out of their comfort zone and let somebody know that they can't read or they don't understand.
Right.
They have to come out of their comfort zone and go to the library to make an attempt or to have someone to teach them or show them how to read. They have to make an attempt to go and get a book and make an attempt to read. So there's a difficulty factor attached to anything that we want to accomplish as a goal.
Yes, sir.
So we must have will to achieve. So whenever a difficulty is encountered, we can overcome and accomplish our goal. Now we as men, let's go to the men.
Come on.
When we strive to live up to the standards of men in FOI, there's a difficulty factor attached to trying to live that standard. Getting a fresh haircut every week or every 2 weeks. Keeping up that Muslim swag.
Right.
Keeping your nails and your fingertips trimmed and looking neat. Keeping a clean white shirt pressed at all times. Keeping a clean suit. Shine, shoes. Carrying a pen and a pad at all times.
Yes, sir.
All of these things carry a difficulty factor. Taking a daily shower. No drinking, no smoking, no gambling, no playing the cards, no drinking and none of that stuff. Taking care of your family, paying your bills, paying your child support.
Come on.
That's a difficult factor for a man who has been robbed, who has been taken away out of his language,
Yes,
who has
sir.
been spoiled. A black man in America, that's difficult for him to do.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's a difficult factor for him. So who is accustomed to doing otherwise?
Right.
Who is accustomed to drinking and getting high? Who's accustomed to not paying his bills? Who's accustomed to not taking care of his family?
Right.
That's a difficulty factor. So there's a difficulty factor to everything that we want to accomplish as a goal.
Yes, sir.
Now, the Quran teaches us that Allah changes not the condition of a people until they first change their own condition.
Right.
So what is Allah telling us? He's telling us that we have to have a certain desire. We have to have a certain will before he will even step in to aid us in helping with us with our difficulty. So we have to build that will. We have to build that desire before he will even step in. Now, what does that tell us again? That we have to want to change our condition first.
Right.
We have to have that desire. Now, when observing the lives of the prophets and the messengers, they were faced with much opposition and much difficulty from the disbelievers. Imagine Noah building an ark on dry land. You know, when the people laughing at him,
Right.
calling him crazy, calling him stupid, calling him, telling him he ain't have no sense, he didn't know what he was doing. But did that stop him? He had a desire to continue to be obedient to Allah. He had a desire. His will was strong. He strengthened his will every time he nailed a nail into those planks.
Right.
He built his will and his desire every time he built a layer around that ark. He built a will and desire every time he continued, despite the fact that he was laughed at. He built his will, he built his desire. When Moses was encountered, or when he confronted Pharaoh, and Pharaoh didn't turn his people loose, Moses didn't punk out.
Right.
He didn't turn his back. He didn't do like a dog does when he's scared, take his tail and put it between his legs and walk and run the other way. He kept going towards him. He kept going to Pharaoh. He made Pharaoh understand that he believed in a higher power
Right.
that he didn't believe in. He told Pharaoh that his God was greater than him. His God caused the sun to rise in the east and set in the west. He didn't let Pharaoh punk him out. He kept going. His desire was built. He'd already, every time he went to Pharaoh and Pharaoh was plagued, that built his desire.
Yes.
He knew that his God, he was backed by a power that was greater than Pharaoh. So that built his power. Now, look at the followers of that. Look at us, the followers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who has told us to build businesses within businesses that are already here. He tells us to build schools. He tells us to build hospitals. He tells us to build our own businesses within the midst of businesses that are already here.
Yes, sir.
But what does that tell us? We know from Allah what they know not.
Right.
We know that the messenger has been taught by God himself. We know that whatever the messenger says is coming from those two, that one that backs him. We know that the minister, whenever he tells us to do certain things, that he's backed by those two, the Christ and the God himself, that's
Yes.
stronger than anything that we may see in this world today.
Right.
So when we look at that factor, that should help us to build our will and keep on with the struggle. Now, we've been called stupid. We've been laughed at because of this. But does that change how you feel about these teachings? Does that cause you to want to punk out and move on and turn around and go the other way? No, that should build your will.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we look at building the will, please bear with me.
Come on.
Kind of lost my track here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We build our will when we wake up, when we rise in the morning and offer Fajr. We build our will that way. We build our will when we eat one meal a day, according to the instructions of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We build our will when we keep our mouths out of the devil's kitchen, by not going to Burger King, by not going to McDonald's, by not going to KFC or Taco Bell,
Yes, sir.
or any of these other places. We're building our will when we do these things. We build our will when we quit drinking. We build our will when we quit smoking. We build our will when we stop getting high. We build our will when we stop committing fornication and adultery. We build our will when we get married and take upon the responsibility of maintaining and protecting a wife and a family.
Right.
We build our will when we stop calling a woman a bee and a hoe. We build our will when we respect ourselves and our brothers enough not to take away from them.